YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and the state troops of the Empire are here by Sigmar's will, and they are led by none other than Volkmar the Grim, the Grand Theogenist. So he has his state troops ready to fight. Archers, swordsmen, spearmen. Yes, they're all ready to go. In fact, there's 4 different archers on the battlefield. Empire Knights, and they are up against the Prophet of Sotek, Tehenawin, who has his lizard forces in the distance, including one feral big boy making his way through the woods. So prepare yourself for some action at Marbad's tomb between, I guess, a little matchup here that I'm going to call Skinks versus State, and we will see who wins. Alright, let me get you introduced to the Empire to start with here. They do have a Witch Hunter up front. What's up with the Witch Hunter? Why is he here? So the Witch Hunter has a couple of abilities that have changed recently. First of all, Accusation now takes away melee defense, armor, and missile resistance. Why is that important? And it affects everything where it can affect a specific target. Well, the Witch Hunter can pull armor off of a specific target, and with 4 archers back there, they can focus fire. So that's what he's going to be good for. Witch Hunter's also immune to psychology and causes some good missile damage when he gets time to fire. Now, all the state troops here have a lot of chevrons. This means their leadership and melee defense are going to be through the roof. So rather than spending money on more units or elite units, the Empire has simply chevron up its unit, and that means the archers are also dishing out more missile damage because they can now reload faster, thanks to the chevrons. You've got support with Volkmar the Grim, and he's got the Grand Hammer of Sigmar, and more importantly, he's going to have Grand Soulfire. These actions like Soulfire have been buffed. They do a considerable amount of damage. And with the Light Wizard here, I believe we're going to see Fa's Protection and Birona's Time Warp. That is indeed what we see there. We do have the Deathjack's Archers here, which is a stock snipe archer. Not a lot of places for it to do that here, but it is there nonetheless. Now in the back are some Empire Knights, and you can see the beginning of the Lizard forces here, including 3 Pterodon Riders, who are going to begin poisoning the Empire Knights. I really want to keep the Empire Knights' attention there. On the other side, the Empire has also forward deployed some Pistoliers, and then we're going to have several units of Skinks up front. In fact, there are 4 Skink cohorts, 1 Saurus Spear. There's going to be 3 Red-Crested Skinks, 2 Feral Bastillodons, Tehenawin, who has Doomflock, and let's see, the Transformation of Kaidan. So a lot of Skinks here. My hope was that if indeed this was an army led by the Hunts Marshal, that I would be able to overwhelm all the skirmishers. Well, there are indeed a lot of skirmishers, but as soon as I saw these state troops with all the chevrons, boy, I knew this one was going to be a lot of fun. And this army is controlled by Dovplays, who is a bit of an Empire connoisseur. I just about said carnosaur. There's your lame joke for the day. Yeah, and anyway, I have one last unit over here, and that is going to be my Feral Dread Saurian. Both of us had been trying to use the Dread Saurian this night, so I am bringing the Dread Saurian in from the woods around the side of this to try and avoid as much missile fire as possible. Let's hit play. So already the Empire Knights taking quite a bit of damage to my Pterodon Riders, and I am very happy with that trade. Though at this point, Dov is going to see it, and he's going to send his cavalry to react. Now look here how beat up my poor little skink boys are, and then they have to come and fight this 80 leadership Empire troops with the help of Birona's Time Warp. And there's also a Bright Wizard, or no, it's just Volkmar. I thought it was a Bright Wizard for a minute. Good grief, tricked me, Volkmar. Anyway, so yeah, you can see here my Red-Crested Skinks immediately rout. The focus fire off the archers is just absolutely brutal. I am going to use Transformation of Kaidan here. I need to tie down all the archers, and I'm clicking orders for the Feral Dread Saurian to get up here, but he is taking his sweet time and not really following my orders. I found that that's actually sometimes very difficult to use the Dread Saurian just for that reason. Like, he gets caught up in melee animations and like twitching around, and it gets very difficult to get him to move on to another target. But you can see that I did manage to get a hold of quite a few of the archers, and in the back I am keeping the knights distracted. I am going to lose a Chameleon Skink over here, but this is worth it to me to keep all this cavalry busy and to be poisoning it and taking it out before it touches any of my infantry. Over here, I do manage to get the Dread Saurian right into the thick of battle, and he is causing some damage, but the archers were able to continue firing despite all the different units I have back here, and then the Witch Hunter is helping out with that as well. You can see the Accusation really hurting the ability of the Dread Saurian to use its armor here, and the archers were spread out wide enough that I'm just not able to keep them all busy at once. And this infantry fight over here, going a long time for me. My guys aren't really winning it, but they're not really losing. The spearmen just don't have much attack. See here, I'm able to get another Bastillodon in, just doing everything I can to keep these troops busy. My Manticore is going to get outed by an Empire Knight, but my Javelin Armed troops continue to chase those Empire Knights and do as much damage to them as possible. And a lot of damage is being dealt. I've got a little bit of infantry back here that'll need to come back. Tehennowin I've had to just kind of move out of the way. He's already out of magic. He had so very little magic. So my forces are absolutely struggling at this point. There's so many chevrons on the Empire, they just will not rout despite being attacked from the rear by monsters and all kinds of stuff. And the Dread Saurian came in and just caused almost no damage. Look at that. He did get 62 kills, but I mean, that was plotzing through a whole bunch of archers and right into the middle of a blob. Here's that blob. Like, didn't even take very tremendous damage. So the state troops, if this is a trial, if this is the lawsuit of Skinks versus state, then right now the state is making a very good argument as to why the Skinks need to get the crap away from Marbad's tomb. See the Light Wizard here spinning up a cast. I believe this is going to be a Barona's Time Warp. Yeah, so look at the spears there. Look at the stats on that. 53 attack, 52 defense spears. Rip my lizards. So this is an interesting army. Like I said, this one was made expecting weaker infantry. And so when the state troops got all the chevrons and then the really good support from Volkmar, the Witch Hunter, and the Light Wizard, my Skinks have simply bitten off more than they can chew here. And despite having gotten through the main lines and putting a ton of pressure on the archers, they just don't rout. It is so difficult to get these units off the battlefield. You can see I finally got one right there, but look, so many of the archers just sticking around. And even though they're cheap, they just deal tremendous amounts of damage in mass. Tremendous amounts of damage. So Tehennowin is going to get caught over here, and Sotek's Prophet, not in a good place. He is not in a good place. He's preaching at these Empire troops, but they're just not listening. They're just not listening. They're defiling Lustria, in spite of him clearly holding his Lord's commandments, the first of which is, "Thou shalt not kill Tehennowin." But yeah, the Empire is certainly not getting the message here. So, despite having gotten off multiple Doom Flocks, just not near enough damage to get rid of these troops. Look at the leadership on these spearmen, like, it's not even budged. So many of these things. So, a very interesting army here from Dov Plays. I pulled a real goofy army here, too, just for fun. We were both going for something different, something crazy. And I do like the army. It had some interesting synergies from him. The high leadership means the state troops stay in the fight longer. And then using the Soulfire, using the Accusation on key units. Obviously, I would probably never bring a Dread Saurian against the Empire, but that was just part of the challenge that we were playing that night, is we were just having fun with the Dread Saurian. I wouldn't recommend it on a normal basis, though. He costs too much. And look at this. I'm like, oh, maybe he'll come back and fight. Look how slow he moves. Comes in, he's going to throw in like one hit, and then be like, nah, I'm out. Forget it, Air. Oh, the Dread Boy. He's either great or he's worthless, and it's a lot of money to invest. I think the Feral version, you can take the risk on every now and then. I certainly wouldn't do it versus the Empire. And boy, it was just my luck to come up against something like this. These guys' leadership, it makes it very hard to terror out when their leadership is this high. And he's got all this different support here. So the terror routes are normally what can help you quite a bit when you're getting the Bastillodons and the Dread Saurian and other units in there. But I figured between the Skinks and Tehennowin's Doom Flock would be able to cut our way through, but no, that is not the case. With Barona's Time Warp on the other side, and then Volkmar using his Soulfire and Grand Hammer of Sigmar, those things are going to be very, very useful. And then the Massed Fire from 4 Archer units, able to cause some pretty intense damage. So this is just a good example of cheap troops well upgraded, and because a lot of my money gets funneled in to 3 different units here, all of my cheap troops are going to come up against his, which are very statistically superior right here. And in this case, this army works out extremely well. Now, I don't think Dov knew exactly what I was going to bring, except for the fact that I was going to bring a Dread Saurian. And you can see he hasn't necessarily just gone hard counter to a Dread Saurian here. And he does have some things that will help, like a lot of missile, but none of these missiles are anti-large or armor-piercing. And so it also goes to show that, with some nice play and a good use of abilities like Accusation, pulling that armor off the Saurian, and then massing fire from the cheaper units, he's actually able to get the job done still, which was a fun way to play. So I enjoyed these couple battles with Dav. Definitely will be playing more with him and others as we continue to try and learn our way through the new multiplayer. Lots of fun stuff going on. Do hope you all drop by and enjoy it with me. HeirofCarthage signing out for now, and guess what? It's out. The DLC's out. Get out there, enjoy it, start playing it. I'm going to be coming at you with some new series, lots of new battles, all kinds of stuff. Plus, join me Friday, September 13th, 9 a.m. U.S. Central Time to 3 p.m. U.S. Central Time. I will be doing a 250,000 subscriber special stream, and we'll also have some special content. Can't wait to see you all there. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.